Oh, yeah. Happy Comic Book Day, and thank you to Bad Mary for that too sweet playing. Welcome, all you nerds, to U.S. Comics Cast, Chapter 2, Episode 2. Two topics, 60 minutes for the people. I'm John Rivera, the CEO and co founder of U.S. Comics.
And I'm Charlie Rivera, the other co host, the other co founder, and the only COO. I almost said CEO again. Now I made two of them.
This mother sucker
But
promotes himself like
I
a
promote
banana
myself
republic dictator.
Because I am not only Charlie Rivera, I'm AKA the other guy on the show that John's on, AKA chubby Latin Kevin Smith, AKA fuck, it's Charlie, regular Charlie. Those are all the canon nicknames for
All
today.
I know is your business card is getting bigger and bigger and more swole, like it is on the juice.
That's correct. But my
Holy.
friend, happy Comic Book Day, man.
Happy Comic Book Day to you, sir. How the hell's it treating you?
I am spiraling into the chaos. Not much different than my beloved DC. Not DC Comics, just regular Detective Comics. DC, if you're nasty.
Damn straight.
I genuinely think, for the first time ever, I am the exact same way a major $1 million company is. I almost want to say like 100,000 company, because I have no fucking clue.
They're $1 billion company just from what you spend.
That's, you know what? When you're
I
right,
mean,
you're
yeah,
right.
credit where credit's due, man. That's what we're doing here.
You can't just buy, all the Superman shirts a boy could muster.
That's true.
And the one
Or
black shirt with a red logo.
Dope Diablo shirt.
Oh.
When you open it up from your sweet loving brother.
Available now. There's only two that exist. John has
Sure.
both. But if you want one, we'll
Make
get
me
you
an
one.
offer, man.
Same with this. I'll even cut it for you. I'll take a lovely blue Griffin shirt. I'll cut off the neck. John, have you been up on like DC's new master plan? There's a brand new master plan, and it is fucking nuts.
You know what? I hate to use these analogies, but the
Do ya?
DC master plans, I do. I mean, these in particular, their master plans come down like what I can only imagine the final days of World War II was like. In like the heart of Germany, they're like, all right, listen to this. This is really gonna work. Like I don't know, man. Like I certainly don't give them. I don't ever doubt them. Like there's a certain thing that they'll try to do. The attempt for sure will be there, but very often they're like, step one in this 50-step process. Oh, step one, you didn't like that? Scrap that, throw it away. We got another idea. What else? What else you got? Look at here. His soap with a surprise inside. You don't want that? All right, nobody wants that. Like basically, they're the Christmas tree salesman from Christmas Story. Like, I don't know about this, DC. All the pines is falling off. Yeah, no, you don't want this comic. Look at this comic. Now this here's a comic.
We'll backdoor Batman in nicely. But you know,
we'll figure out how to get Wolverine in there. We don't give a shit. Just buy the comic.
The really kind of like screwed up thing in my head was, at least when they started, when Marvel had like been on movie 30 and DC was like, okay, no, we have like we have the Trinity.
Right.
We have arguably the three most important superheroes who've ever Kevin, I'm gonna get to you. Just ready to jump into action in defense of his beloved DC.
Silent Smith my ass.
They at least, when they took a misstep, in my humble opinion, at least it was a step filled to the brim with balls. They had human balls. They had
content there.
They literally, they were like, we're gonna make a new Superman movie, and I went, all right. And they went, do you remember Dark Knight? And I went, yeah. And they were like, it's gonna kind of be like that. So you're gonna make like a cop movie about Superman? No, he's gonna full on be an alien. There's gonna be spaceships, other aliens. I'm like,
It's
but
always going to be dark, even in the daytime.
no one's gonna see shit. His cape is gonna be like leather.
Everybody is miserable. It's going to be great.
Literally that version of the DC universe that launched was like, what if everyone was in Charlie's mood most of the time?
They were like, this shit is so Dark Knight. You're going to need a prescription for Paxil just to see this shit. It is great.
Lois is like, I won an award. Perry is so blue, he's literally blue because that
Oof.
controversy.
Charlie may have been canceled, folks. 6 minutes, 22 seconds into this
You know
second episode of Chapter 2.
Had to happen.
Jot it down.
Had
Jot it
to
down.
happen. Just
It's all right.
Perry
We
White.
have lawyers on retainer for a reason.
Perry White is this like lovable curmudgeon. Fucking Morpheus was having none of it. He didn't want to hear from Superman's bullshit. He didn't want to hear from Clark's.
He looked so verklempt constantly. He more so to me. He just looked like he was ready to drop gloves and beat the shit out of anybody. I was actually kind of happy with the direction they took little Jimmy Olsen, because if Dum Dum Jimmy had been in the offices of the Daily Planet with that Perry White roaming the halls, he would have caught a beating like you read about.
We would have just seen a little like ginger kid, always different
There would have been a Jimmy Olsen shaped chalk outline on the rug between Perry's office and like the main bullpen.
There, honestly,
Brutal.
I hate to imply that we just wrote a better version of Man of Steel, but the Man of Steel where Perry White is like the big villain and the final battle is Clark being like, I brought HR.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
this, you can't literally put a boot up Jimmy's tuchus.
I was just
It's not-
motivating him. You put him in the hospital. He's in traction, Chief.
So days after DC is like, hey man, take it, leave it, love it, hate it. The Snyder Cut doesn't matter. Pew, pew, pew. We gave it to you, but it means jack all.
Yeah.
And you last week brought up the fact like bullshit, no matter what, it's going to live in the comics. They said, hold our beer. We're going to get weirder
They
because
listen
we're
to
going
us,
to
oh,
take
dude, I'm telling you.
we're going to take what's left of our bravery and we're going to go ahead and compartmentalize it worse than fucking the Star Wars universe. So, you're Warner Brothers. You have access to HBO Max. You have to show Wonder Woman. Every fucking body watches Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Everyone develops a full, suddenly everyone is not only a worldly doctor. Now they're taking a break from their political ambitions to
I
become
have a
film
doctorate
reviewers.
in cinematography, sir.
Yeah, exactly. They're talking about this, that, and the third.
I didn't go to Blockbuster every day of my life to be called Mr. Thank You.
But so DC has come out and they've announced that they have like obviously a partnership with HBO Max. And guess what? We're going to give you all the HBO Max content you can fucking muster, baby. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of like brilliant because DC's comics are great. DC's animated films, nine times out of 10.
Their animated ventures are they're very
Well,
good.
at bare minimum, the thing that I talk about a lot, at least the creators are passionate about what they're doing. There's not so much with the animated features. There's clearly not as much. I mean, for God's sakes, one of the last ones that I didn't like Dick Grayson got kind of raped.
Well, here's the thing. It's my opinion, and this could be a separate topic, but my opinion is the animated features, they largely stick to the script, right? They're a relatively faithful adaptation of their source material, as opposed to the movies, which, for good or for bad or for in between, the creators feel the obligation to reinvent the wheel. Like, oh, you like Batman, but you ain't seen him like this. He's got a Batman credit card. You're like, all right. You had me at nipples, but now I'm really, really in. Ooh, commerce. Woo! Oh, that
Oh, I
little
hope him and
high
Robin
interest
have a
debt.
fight that has no resolution. That would be awesome. Bring
Robin is
on the
angry
shittiest Bane.
from nanosecond one, from the first the first time you think about seeing Robin in that movie, he is pissed.
He's, I don't think we've, like everyone always talks about, oh, Jordan, one of the people who's a part of US Comics. He recently kind of went on not a long-winded diatribe, but he was talking about how like Robin is an unnecessary character, and it boiled my blood. But that's not the point of what I'm saying.
He
What I'm
may have
saying is
literally been trying to kill you.
a lot. God bless him. The ugly fact is we've yet to see a cinematic Robin who like smiled more often than not. Like the
We
cinematic,
barely had a cinematic Robin. Like
yeah, both had
we've
bats.
had
frown.
a furious borderline as old as Batman Robin. We've had the Casper the Friendly Ghost Robin. Like we don't even know like which Robin Joker clearly killed at this point.
Yeah,
We've got Teen Titans Robin. That's something.
he's cool and but also very unhappy.
Just oh my god,
Just
furious,
not stoked about his
holy
whole life.
shit.
And don't get me wrong, some of Robin's life has been tough, but the like getting to live with a millionaire and getting to smash
Yeah,
Batgirl.
exactly. I'm like, have you even seen Annie, bro? Like, it's a hard knock life, Robin.
Yeah. And not like nowhere in Annie does she like get to bang the hottest alien. Like in a universe where there's like green, bald, tentacled aliens, he's like, what about the one with orange hair, baby?
Like, yeah,
But none of that's my point.
she must be an alien because them titties are defying gravity, son.
Woo!
Now, actually,
and now John's
now
been
I'm canceled.
canceled.
Yeah, it's been a good run, folks.
It's you know
if
what?
anything defies gravity on her, it's her costume. Like what? Like literally, in what universe does fabric cling to the human form in that way? It's comic books
Right,
for you, man.
You talk unkindly about Starfire on this.
Not
show
at all.
again?
Not at all. I mean, I was kind of hoping that this shirt did a little something. Don't want to leave a lot to the imagination, so to speak.
But just so everyone knows, John's wearing a shirt that says Diablo, Reaper's big brother. Available now, if you ask me, and I'll sell
If
you.
you're me,
Give me $30. I'll ship it anywhere, and like the moon. I don't care. But no. So DC once again in a state of course correcting. They start getting all this stuff that makes me excited. James Gunn is coming in to do Suicide Squad. Then they double down, and when they're talking about their HBO Max stuff, they're like, "Guess what? So John Cena is gonna be in the new Suicide Squad, and guess double what else? We're gonna give him a limited series on HBO Max." And the announcement's going to be like, fuck, it's Peacemaker. And they're talking about it, and Peacemaker's like a douchebag version of Captain America. And I go, well, if you're going to give me John Cena, let him be on television where I could choose to, if the first episode's great, but it's a limited series. So then more announcements started rolling in.
right?
The Batman is getting a spin-off for their movie. And I immediately went like, but didn't you guys make a big deal about like this Batman self-contained? And they're like, we didn't mean that he can't have more. We just meant that other people can't have them because it's ours. And
You were using the English definition of that term. We were using the DC Comics definition, which means
exactly
if it makes us money,
we'll happily do it. No, but then they change gears and they go, haha, just messing around. Because we're gonna do Gotham PD. It's the Gotham City Police Department, the show. You remember how like you don't like cops, the show anymore? Like, yeah, it's Batman cops. You know, the cops that need Batman's help all the time. And then someone said,
again, Gotham City, where every tour of duty is a PM shift. The sun does not come up on Gotham City, period.
And then insult to injury, they have this amazing actor as Commissioner Gordon, and they're like, nah, he's probably not in it. He has Westworld shit to do on the other half of HBO.
Well, yeah, I got to be honest, and I'm fluent in Charlieisms. I sincerely cannot decipher if you're happy or totally perturbed about this slate of DC content.
Well, here's the thing. Yes, I am both because so far. So one of my favorite
You guys
comics.
look at that. This is what I'm dealing with on a daily basis.
It's true.
You only have to deal with it like once a week, and you get 6 days to fully recover, build your platelets and stuff back up. This is daily. This my brother is like doing 1,000 push-ups every day, and you're not allowed to rest.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's right. So the truth is, here's the thing. I'm very excited, and I think they're doing it in a smart. I think they're doing it in a really smart way because they're saying like, "Hey, man, we don't need to put the pressure on us for like a GCPD movie loosely based on the comics that Charlie loves. Let's just try a series, and maybe it's one season. And if it's dope and we have more story to tell, we'll do more. But like maybe we won't." It's
well, but that's the freedom that they now have with the HBO Max connection,
absolutely.
like the WB HBO Max connection, and that is actually brilliant because, I try my best personally. Like it's like a life's goal is to have as wide a perspective as possible. Now, one of the artists, and I use that term very specifically, Ricky Gervais, right? Ricky Gervais is one of those cats that you either love him or you hate him, right? He doesn't really create much of a middle, like a middle of the pack, a base of fans or detractors. He makes content right and left. But can you tell me about his season 13 of The Office? No, you can't, because there wasn't one, right? He makes these debatably esoteric, sometimes dark, always thoughtful and provocative content, and he makes movies and things like that also. But his series largely, they're when they say like limited, they really mean limited. And I'm not sure necessarily if it's a Ricky Gervais thing or if it's more so a BBC thing. But like BBC is famous for me saying, why are there only 2 seasons of this? I am petrified.
Like, this is dope.
I'm petrified for something like Peaky Blinders because I love Peaky Blinders, but I'm like, fucking BBC does not make long-winded shit. Like they'll make The Crown for as long as there is historical Crown shit to tell. When it's over, it's over.
They're gonna be like caught up in making up shit soon.
Yeah. Well, they'll be predicting stuff like The Simpsons soon enough. Like, oh shit, Queen Elizabeth died. Oh, jumping out of a plane because their parachute didn't open. That's some BBC. Is that? Oh, that happened today. Damn, BBC, nice.
She was
well
recreating Charlie's
Cheerio.
favorite scene in Point Break. But here's the thing. So you bring in cool creators, and if you tell me you're gonna leave them alone, I'm excited. So J.J. Abrams, Justice League
can
Dark.
leave them alone because their leash is only so long anyway, right? If you have a limited series that's only intended for 2 seasons, the fuck are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? They're not gonna put Superman in a kilt. They're not gonna make Batman a vegetarian pacifist. They're not going to debatably do too much damage, so to speak. But one could argue you're also to a certain degree limiting their success. It may be a bright, shiny flash in the pan, and people are like, oh my god, those 2 seasons were amazing. But now it's over, right?
And there's a weird. It's. I love that you brought that up because there's like a
Very
weird
smart.
middle ground. The weird middle ground that's like screaming in my head is J.J. Abrams is going to do Justice League Dark, which at first I like threw my pen and paper because I was like, well, this is bullshit. I've been waiting 30 years for someone to do that on the big screen. Like I want Constantine, like not the admittedly acceptable Keanu Reeves Jim Constantine.
Yeah, it's like Constantine life.
I want fucking Constantine, and I want Deadman, and I want Swamp Thing again. And what's cool about Abrams specifically is they made it very clear. They're like, this shit's going to be like interconnected TV show and movies. So if the TV show does well, like we'll do the, and that to me is like, okay, wait. So you're saying if we earn it, we get, if it's worth more, we get it.
Yeah,
reverse. It's
but that's common sense. Finally, common sense has kind of like weaseled itself into the conversation where it's never had a tip. You've never walked into the boardroom and you line up all this talent, all this the big money people, and 52 producers for a movie that only has like 13 actors. There has never been a seat with the water bottle and a bowl of nuts and like the little placard in front that says like a reserve seating. Common sense. Common sense has never had a seat at the table, but and then finally there is. But you know what? We don't want to make this a topic. So I'm in agreement with you. The short version, I think it's awesome, and it's one of those things where like, hey man, if you make it, you've earned it. Now here's your big boy money, right? Here's your big girl money. Go out and play. Well done.
The last thing I want to say though is for something like Justice League Dark, I think this is a great idea. Conversely, I am nervous about projects in development like Static Shock being relegated to HBO Max when we know what a different looking superhero product.
Relegated like Wonder Woman?
Well, but that's unfair because
who knows? But here's the thing, Charlie. Who knows? Like if this past year has taught me personally anything, is that I have no earthly clue. You better put that earphone back in. I'm saying some important stuff.
I can hear you. I hear you.
Tomorrow
I hear me through this one.
Is not guaranteed, right?
No, I don't.
Who knows what can happen?
I 100% agree.
I don't think that it's a relegation, especially with what they're able to do on TV. Some of the best media that we're getting, the best entertainment, is in the TV form.
True.
Mandalorian is on the TV.
Rephrase. If Static Shock becomes a season or a miniseries, I hope it's the quality level of a Watchmen, of a Mandalorian. I hope that they don't get.
Going for. It's not a bullshit WB show.
Fair. That's
right?
what I'm afraid of.
It's not Smallville. Don't worry.
Oh,
shots fired! Shots fired! Boom, 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 boom. I got them all day, folks. I got them all day.
Somebody save me!
Oh Lord!
Don't matter how far you go, and just save.
You know what, Charlie? I'm pretty confident the only person that could possibly save us is Space Girl. So that's a solid segue. Why don't you kick us off? Tell the good people at home all about our sponsors.
Oh, you know we could not get this party started and we couldn't get this party ended with the hottest tunes anywhere in the music space. So we go to our good friends at Bad Mary. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Bad Mary Band. You can go to their website, badmary.com, buy yourself a t-shirt, buy yourself a pin, buy yourself a keychain, all sorts of great stuff. You can just throw money at them, like, dare I say,
they like it.
They deserve. Patreon.com/Bad Mary. You want to hear complete albums? They're on every streaming service waiting for you, man. Bad Mary. Don't deny yourself glorious music. Bad Mary, sucker.
Damn straight. You know what? When Charlie's right, he's right. It ain't often, but when it happens, it's really beautiful. Our other sponsor right here on Facebook Gaming, it's Sergeant Finesse. 2 streams a day, outstanding gaming content. He does supporter streams. He does giveaways. He throws contests. Don't be a sucker. I promise you, your day will just be better if you de-suckify before you ever turn on that show. But check him out today. It's well worth it. Throw him a like, throw him a follow. Consider becoming a supporter. If you need to pick me up, go ahead. Follow the White Rabbit down to sneakenergy.com. Use code SGT at checkout. If you're looking for some fresh new gear like, ooh, this Diablo shirt, sorry, you got to go for Charlie with that. But for a version like this that says Sergeant Finesse, you can go to geeksunleashed.com. There you can use code SARGE at checkout. Because look, when the Sarge is on deck, You salute. GG, son. Charlie, kick us off with our first topic. My mother sucker. You are on the clock.
Let's do this thing. So, things happen in life. Sometimes people start amazing collections that just get better every day. Every day, you have
Thank you.
a weapons wall
Oh,
in
yes,
your
I do.
home. You got a proton pack. You have Conan's sword.
I do
You
indeed.
have a rapier. You have Han Solo's blaster. You have the coolest shit, and you have arguably the greatest weapon of all from your dear brother.
My mind.
You have a Morpher.
I
From
do have a
your
Morpher. That's right.
favorite franchise, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's
I don't
John.
appreciate you throwing me under the bus like that, Charlie.
Super fans don't have die-cast metal morphers with lights
That thing
and
is
sound.
heavy as anything.
You right now, if you wanted, you could activate all sorts of like eagly powers and tiger robot powers.
You're going to have eagle powers.
But it's not just as John flaps his arms. Just if you haven't seen oh my god, I almost called it Kung Fury because my brain was just like, pick a parody film. Nacho Libre is clearly my favorite Nickelodeon movie, first and first, mostly. But no, we're not talking about the inevitable sequel, Nacho Libre Jr., starring John and I. I am talking about one of the most popular franchises that's going through an amazing change and is now Boom Studios' second quadruple grand slam on Kickstarter. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the complete comic book collections, has made nearly $500,000 on Kickstarter.
What?
With 22 days left to go,
Holy.
890 backers, and their original goal was $50,000. So check out.
Are they looking to build an actual life-size Zord? Like, what are they doing?
Honestly, I feel like they kind of owe us. Like, they should be trying to tap on in to that Morphin grid. So a few months ago, John, we talked about Berserker, Keanu Reeves comic that Boom Studios was like, we're going to make this, but like, do you want it now in like a really cool collection? And people said, yes. We have never wanted anything more in our entire lives. Like, this is the greatest thing ever. John, this collection is that in reverse. They have given us years of the Power Rangers comic, Go-Go Power Rangers and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And now what they did was they took their key 55 issues and collected them into 6 volumes.
Okay.
And these are 6 hardcover, jumbo-sized collections. Each book is $100, or you can get like a super ultra edition that comes with this like amazing hard sleeve that your hard sleeve book slides into. So the book is them like Morphin,
right?
The hard sleeve cover, baby, for just $25 more, slides over it, and they're Power Rangers. And then if you want the super ultra deluxe, there's another version that you slide over that, and it's like lenticular. But on top of that,
that's a lot of protection,
dude. That's more armor than the Power Rangers get because
they're like, hey Trojan, hold my beer, bro.
Exactly. It's more for time protection from STDs.
Protection first.
But what's really amazing about this is twofold. One, to my recollection, this is the first time a comic book company is kind of celebrating to this magnitude the end of an era, because what the comic is kind of doing is they're doing a soft reboot. They've told their giant epic story, and now they're going to tell more with the Mighty Morphin guys, and presumably Draken's going to still be around and whatnot, which is like the evil future version of Tommy. But they're saying like, hey, these 55 issues, this is the story we told. This is our phase 1. It is that sort of collector's set. And there's all sorts of Kickstander goodies. There's a giant like standee that's the Megazord that like each book sits in if you're a psychopath and if you have like thousands of dollars.
Or Charlie.
What's that?
Or Charlie.
Or yeah, well, I mean, if I had the budget, it probably would happen. But what's really cool for me is again, to my recollection, they're saying like this is what Boom Studios had to offer the Power Rangers universe. These are the 55 most important issues. This
Now,
tells
are so this collected version, they consist of all comics that you personally have read already, right?
correct. Yeah, it's everything I
No,
read.
nothing
with,
new, so to speak. Is there anything new? Like, is there any kind of like the kind of stuff that you sneak away from me? Like, give me that unfinished sketch. I'm like, that's intended for the garbage man. You're like, nope, that's the
it's
collected volume.
100%.
Now,
They had their very own Charlie just go
Gotcha.
through his junk drawer.
Garbage
and they
picker.
were like original concepts of Draken, the original design layouts for the Rangers they made up. This series created whole teams. It brought to
additional
life
teams
additional teams, correct.
never seen on
Most
TV.
Yeah, exactly. And they've continued the story in a way that you've seen characters get older or scarred or alternate reality versions of them. So there's all
Seen them get
that
older.
art-
Yeah, because the TV Power Rangers, you do not. The TV Power Rangers were the equivalent of like Menudo. They're like, oh, you're really cute, Spanish kid. Come in, you're gonna be in our super boy band. Oh, is that the first mustache hair? You're out.
Get out of here, Ricky Martin.
Let me see those nuts. Ah, I thought I heard a short and curly
That's
on the streets.
terrible, but I love it.
Adios.
What's really cool though is just before I get to my main point, what's really really neat is this is the main point. I promise.
I'm just imagining like outside the Power Rangers / Menudo headquarters. There's like a pile of like tweens that are just getting their first body hairs.
Just
They're just
that, I
sitting
mean,
there
that
all
would be
sad.
that's a pile that's a lot of fun if you
Poor
time it right.
Menudo / Drac Innocent out there. Encarnacion. Why did you throw me away from home?
Just that should be the rest of the show. Just
Sad.
please finish singing that song for me. But
So sad.
what's one thing I love just talking about, the actors, they brought in 6 of the somewhat original cast. Unfortunately, we did lose cast members along the history of Power Rangers.
Sure. Yeah.
What they
RPL
did
Ranger.
is because they have 6 issues, which I guarantee they planned, because it's like 12 to 14 issues per hardcover book.
Right.
They're like, well, we need exactly 6 because that's the key team. That's the core team of Power Rangers plus Tommy. So what's cool is they signed their book. So if you get the Pink Ranger,
they'll
Amy
pull
Jo
in,
Johnson,
Kevin Smith, and you're getting it signed already.
exactly right. So
Poor Amy Jo Johnson. She must have gotten down on her knees and thanked the good Lord above. She's like, thank you so much. If that poor girl never has to hear, you were my first sexual awakening by some disgusting, hairy, sweaty creep, like 100 times a day, I will shave my head bald. If that's not the case, she must be. I can't imagine the level of unintentional abuse. I'll give them that. I'll give the mouth breathing core that it's not intentional. Like in their sweaty, gross minds, it's a compliment.
yeah.
Like she's sitting back, like, oh, just thinking about Gigantor whapping away in his tiny pud for the first time because of her pink martial arts. Good Lord.
Poor Amy Jo. I apologize for all of the letters. I was going through some stuff. What part of the problem?
I mean,
damn it.
Doesn't help.
God damn it.
Doesn't help.
But so when I get her edition, I'll show you her autograph. I'm just kidding. I already have her autograph. Had a long conversation. She was super into it. I'm just kidding. She didn't care. What I really love about this though is, again, it's that kind of celebrating something that you're proud of times 10. The only negative feedback I've heard about this was all of the super fans like me that are like, well, I got those issues. I wish I
To a
didn't spend all
degree.
this
To a
money buying
degree.
the trade, but it's
Yeah, but
such
there
a,
was no guarantee at the time that they were going to be collected in this version.
and also I have like 50 versions of most Daredevil trades.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, and this is a conversation that I find myself having even with non collector types, is that it's okay, dare I say it's beneficial to have the multiple variations when they become available, because now you have loners, right?
I,
You have somebody who you can see it on their face. They can't really wrap their mind around your level of fandom for this one particular thing or another. And in this circumstance, now you're like, you know what? You're a good guy or gal. Bloop here. And you know, it you become the lending library for Power Rangers or for Stephen King or for, fill in the blank. Regardless of the topic that you're talking about. So I think it's a good thing.
yeah, I think it's awesome. And to double down that point, what's also really cool about this collection is it feels now like it's important. Because telling someone like, "Oh, you got to read Go Go Power Rangers," it's dope. That sounds like
I was
I'm
like,
kidding.
that
That
was a good one.
sounds
What should
that
I really read though?
it
War and
sounds like
Peace?
such a joke. And when I tell you, it is over the last few years, it's constantly wound up in my top 5 ongoings,
Yeah.
pretty much through its entire run,
Because
which
of its
is
quality though, not because it's Power Rangers.
exact. Well, I think it's transcended the source material.
Yeah.
The stuff they've added to it has been like lovingly embraced by fans
Right.
because the show was for like dumb kids. Like
Yeah, very much so.
smart kids were able to get some love out of it, but if you were a dumb kid like myself, it
Any
was the
show
jam.
where they're like, but the audience that you have in mind doesn't speak the language of the performers that are on the screen, and they're like, it's fine. We could sell these dumb sugar liquors anything.
But
And
what's
that's an actual quote from Saban. Like when Saban goes, that's gonna be on his that's gonna be engraved
you
on
can
his
sell these
headstone.
sugar liquors
I could
anything.
sell these dumb sugar liquors anything.
What I love
And
about
he
it
did.
what I love about it too is I think this is the first time to my recollection where a comic book was so influential
Yeah.
that Power Rangers and Hasbro, who owns the property now, announced that they're bookending the TV universe now, and they're gonna start fresh. And I refuse to believe in
Isn't
a
that
world.
their formula though? Like, don't they do that pretty constantly?
No, because they've always been like low end attached. Like a big key of almost every season, minus the years that Disney owned them,
Oh, it's been
were
ongoing.
crossovers.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
it's like they've lived in their own universe, but we have a teleporter.
Right.
Ooh, oh, we're from
But
the
didn't you
future.
just have like Dad Bod Jason show up like in the current
Yeah, and he was
Power
like
Rangers 132
he was
season?
like some sort of weird like Power Ranger like god. He's like just in the grid now. Weird. That show is like very
He's like, any of you seen Tron? Oh no, you haven't. Oh, then no, forget it. Just trust me. I can do some shit.
it was dope. And what I love about it is like he morphs and he's still like wildly in better shape than me, but he morphs and like loses 40 pounds. It's like that was impressive, man. That's dope.
Also, during that giant kick across the screen, I'm pretty sure you were a woman. But
You had just look. He was just looking good, man.
suspension of disbelief. Am I right?
That's clean eating. But what I love about it is a lot of people suspect that whatever the new Power Rangers kind of
Yeah.
is going to take a lot of cues from the kind of tone and pacing of these comics, because these comics were so unabashedly rather unashamed of what they were.
Well,
They
now,
never once were like,
gotta be.
we're Power Rangers, but now we're badass. No, they hung out at the juice bar. They fought a pumpkin wrapper. The stuff that happened kind of in between wound up being so awesome. And given, I understand why I come across as a hypocrite so often, because I hate like this B universe where everyone's a bad guy. I hate it. When I tell you the whole Shattered Grid story was amazing. It's the same reason that like a show, ironically, a show like Cobra Kai, which has a real Power Ranger vibe, if you just remove the dinosaur robots.
Sure.
It's a bunch of teens doing karate with attitude.
Yeah.
I'm
And
just fucking
everyone acts
saying.
like this.
Yeah. It's one
Just
of
like
those.
Goblin in the first Spider-Man movie.
Oh, oof. My poor Willem. But it really, truly, it's this amazing thing where the snake ate its own tail, and what came out on the other side will hopefully be the next like evolution of storytelling, because Power Rangers has been stuck in this very 1990s pattern, because they're like, we take footage from over here and we use a little bit of footage we
Yeah,
make and we tell
that's
a
the
story.
formula, right?
You can now, one of the big rumors is, are they going to start, if you're restarting Power Rangers, why wouldn't you restart with Mighty Morphin? Why wouldn't you, if you're going to do a big relaunch, you start with Superman, you start with Mighty Morphin.
Have they said specifically that that's not what they're doing?
It's very like hush hush right now. They're like, after, because they have one more season that's the traditional style. They're using Japanese footage with kind of added on footage to make Dino Fury, I think it's called, but I could be wrong.
Makes sense.
And then they're gonna have this new kind of allegedly somewhat combined universe where there might be movies. They're gonna kind of pull a DC, like we were talking about before. There'll be the show, and it'll exist in a universe with a movie, but maybe just a different time period. It's just it's rad, and it's, again, I think ultimately it's the same thing as when someone was able to say like, "Oh, you have to watch Clerks. Check this out. This guy Kevin Smith rips." Now it has made Power Rangers a new thing. It's we're not talking about the 90s with Power Rangers. When it comes to one of the best comics written in the last 5 or 10 years, this has to be part of that top 100 combo.
And here's the thing, just to kind of help bring it home a bit, there are audiences that are like, I will read the back of a Power Rangers cereal box if there's some kind of like hidden canonical little nugget for me, and that guy's name is Charlie, right? Charlie will watch, see, read, listen to, taste anything with that goofy lightning bolt logo on it. Charlie will go to get his wallet, and he gonna spend some money. Now, if someone like Charlie, who I consider a true comic book aficionado, if he says, John, this comic book is good, he knows, and I'm just speaking about you, Charlie, like you're not here, so just, you could go ahead and take your earphones out. Charlie knows if he says this comic book is good, in spite of the fact that it might be Power Rangers, or it might be Ghostbusters, or it might be Turtles, something where I know that he has a bone deep love affair for the content, and I read the thing and I'm like, Charlie, this is not good. It's just about some shit that you like. That conversation has never happened, right? Charlie knows if he says, John, read this, it's a good comic book. It's just a good comic book. Doesn't make a difference if it's Mouse and it's about like substituting animals for the Nazi, the Jewish experience with Nazi Germany, or it could be Power Rangers, or it could be the Ghostbusters crossover, or it could be any one of the comics that Charlie said, read this, you'll like it, it's awesome. Doesn't make a difference what the content is, or like the subject matter. That's just a good comic book. So something like this type of move, I think, speaks more to someone like me. You literally could not pay me enough to sit down in my feety pajamas, open up a box of sugar cereal, and eat it dry for 22 minutes of nonsense, gabba gabba, bad kung fu show. You could not pay me enough to sit down and watch it. You can say, John, here's the Power Rangers movie. It had $100 billion budget. I'll be like, yeah, exactly. Then there's the Power Rangers Charlies of the world, and then there's the Johns of the world. If it's a good comic, if it's worth reading, I will read it. Because look, Everybody poops. The hell else are you gonna do in there?
You know,
You read a good comic.
I think if you can't find an appreciation for something that just happened. Rude. If you can't find an appreciation for something that's awesome, if you told me there was a banger of a Care Bears comic, I'm paying my $3.
Hell yeah. Especially because
Not-
you own multiple Care Bears, My Little Pony, and if I'm not mistaken, a couple of Pound Puppies.
You know what? I like what I like, and if they make a Ghostbuster version of it, I'm buying it. Ain't that right, Baby Kev? Today's episode, I'm joined not by Baby Raff Raff,
You
but
mean
in my research,
Silent Baguru?
in my research, I realized what this show needs is a baby version of a beloved character. So I'll be trying them out. For those of you listening and not seeing, I'm joined by Baby Kev.
Nice. So week 2 we have Baby Kevin. Week 1 we have Baby Raphael.
Correct. And you'll have to tune in on any of our social media. All of it is at US Comics HQ.
I could just text you directly and you could just tell me, right?
No.
I have to tune in also?
Nope. Yep. All of you. I need you to also, if you're watching this video.
Damn your rules.
If you're watching this video and you haven't hit like yet and the share button,
you're a monster.
You're kind of a jerk.
You're a monster. Now, granted, you're a baby monster, and you may appear on the show as one of our baby versions, but you're still a monster.
That's true. Baby Sarlacc Pit might be coming up soon, and you don't want to miss it.
You earned
right
it.
Here on US Comics HQ. John.
Yes.
Speaking of US Comics.
Damn straight.
What's good in our neighborhood?
I do speak about US Comics, and I do it on the regular. So, your baby John has been
just because you lost like 40 pounds.
Whatever, it's fine. I'll take whatever nickname I can get. Some of us don't have a business card that's like an 80-page loose leaf, a notebook, like the nickel notebook that you get before school starts. He's like, shit, I left all my books at home. Let me stop by the school store and grab some shit so I don't look like a total douche in class. Anyways, so here in the Weehawken offices of US Comics, I have indeed been hard at work. Actually, one of the things that we we have done, and if you're watching the show as opposed to listening, and if you listen to the show, you'll notice it in a lot of the art that accompanies our Facebook and Instagram pages and Twitter and all that stuff that we got. We always lead our character introductions in by a tease, right? Like, ooh, just a little something to run home and tell your mom about. We tease the character. Every character has a unique icon, which is exclusively for that particular character. We show the icon with a little bit of a blurb to kind of, give you undercarriage a little bit of a how's your father, right? You got the little
a little Scully blade.
Sure. So we like to light those fires of anticipation. Sometimes, Charlie, it is easier than others. So this particular character that we are debuting this week, I can proudly say that just today, I finalized the iconography, got it approved through the channels, through the upstairs channels, and even though we're the owners and co-founders, they're still upstairs channels. I'm not sure how that works either, but it's true. So we have that official. So the first official character introduction has their finalized and approved character iconography set, which you will be seeing on all of our socials tomorrow. So you do not want to be herefore mentioned Sergeant Finesse hating sucker. Don't be a sucker, because we will open up the window and yell out into the nice guy, Bad Mary, go ahead, tell Space Girl to knock this sucker out, because that's what will happen if you're not here to catch this first character introduction, and more so catch the teaser. Maybe you can even anticipate the type of character, where they're coming from. When they open up the fridge, what's waiting for them, and when the light is shining in the dark, it's like 2 a.m. You know, a little something like, before I go to bed, I need a little something after pee. I've emptied out the system. Now I got to replenish if I'm going to have any kind of good dreams. All of that jazz. That's where you're going to be at. Be here tomorrow for that first teaser for the new character of the new year. That's a fact, Jack.
I love it. 2021's first teaser. Fun fact, you can find all of that stuff, all of our old teasers, old art on all of our social media, US Comics HQ. You want to follow them all because there will be periodic exclusive drop skis. Also, tell us what you think about the characters. Tell us on the teaser. Why don't you make
Keep that shit to yourself?
Why don't you make your prediction known? You see a skull with a blade coming out of the head, and it looks like it's a handle. I want to hear what you think that character is going to be, what the character you would have created to go along with that iconography. Hell, maybe you want a shirt? Tell me you want a shirt. I'll sell you a shirt. US Comics HQ. You can visit our website.
I'm selling stuff.
USComics.com. John, your clock has started.
Thank you, Chancho. Let me tell you something. Rameses will not drop the ball. Look. Now that the clock is ticking officially for me, I want this to be known throughout the known interwebs. I love my brother.
Oh,
he's a great kid. A little funny looking. Doesn't smell so great, but he's a good guy. So much so that when I'm going through my daily browse, certain things that might normally escape my attention make me snap to. Not so much because I give a flying shit about that particular thing, but because my loving baby brother does. And one of those things I'm borderline ashamed to say is the Fast and the Furious franchise. Right?
It's about family and Corona beers.
Oh, man, damn it! I thought I could get through this. I might need some liquid courage. So, as I'm going through my typical pages to get me through the day, I come across, and this is not a particularly unique thing because, as we know, Vin Diesel, the star and the driving force behind the Fast and the Furious franchise.
Pun intended.
Those are not words that I intend to ever have come out of my mouth. I would have preferred, hey, remember that goofy movie, Fast and the Furious? And like people like, no, I don't. What was it? Anyways.
It was like Point Break with cars.
No, it was Point Break with cars.
No, that's what people would say, man.
Oh, my bad. So there is I'm staring at a picture of a very angry, because man's always angry. He's always angry. Him, Wahlberg, and Ice Cube, always angry. Like they always got the furrowed brow. Like, what are you so angry about, man? Anyways, so he is arms crossed, flexing hard, trying to look as big as The Rock. He's there, and he's got the Marvel Universe splashed out behind him. Now, again, famously, he is indeed a part of the aforementioned Guardians of the Galaxy saga, the ongoing tales. He's
arguably his best acting.
Both baby.
I am Groot.
The only time he ever showed up on stage, on set, off book. So, but no, this is not a Guardians of the Galaxy article. This is really basically all about how the Marvel movies, the interconnected nature, and more so the incredibly long lifespan of the ongoing Marvel movies, like that pulse that those movies have had, inspired this beautiful bald son of a bitch to drag out, dare I say, Charlie would say, thankfully, extend these Fast and the Furious movies. So he basically, I'm going to cut it short because this is just a lead-in. But he basically says, and he refers to lovingly Walker. He refer Paul Walker, R.I.P. He refers to him as Pablo, is his nickname for him. But he was saying that like even as far back as 2012, 2013, that they would talk about having this like long stretch of movies, like that there were going to be they and I actually believe him.
15 movies deep.
Look, here's the thing. Like, this is not a George Lucas. Like, oh, I knew there were going to be a ton of movies. I knew that Luke and Leia were related. I knew Vader. You didn't. Stop lying, you incestuous son of a bitch. Here in this circumstance, I believe that these conversations happened because Vin Diesel's like crazy enough to think, yeah, no, that's totally logical. He probably had the same conversation about fucking Triple X, right? He thought that was gonna be the new James Bond, I bet.
Which is a trilogy somehow.
You know what?
There are 3 Triple X's.
Listen. That's a lot of X's, Charlie.
There are
my
as
point.
many X's in the title as there are movies.
Yeah, and you know what? In bowling, that shit's called a turkey, and that's for good reason. All right. All I'm gonna say is this: he knew that he wanted this long, extended, dare I say, epic story. And granted, are they goofy? Yes. Are they nonsensical? Absolutely. Are they absurdist? You can go ahead, stop the podcast right now, look up absurdist, and then confirm, yes, indeed, they are absurdist. But, and this is a big but, this is a J-Lo but, it's on purpose. They know those movies are ridiculous. And for that, God bless you. I wish you nothing but the best.
Do you really think they know?
No, they definitely do.
I feel like Vin Diesel is
they
like
definitely do.
White woman with blonde dreads. Yes.
Vin Diesel doesn't sit and watch Lincoln and then watch, Tokyo Drift. Is like, they're the same, bro. Like, he doesn't think that. He knows that his movies are, again, adrenaline, Nas-fueled silliness. And that's fine. There's plenty of play space in the market on the playground for this type of content. Clearly,
it's like being
Charlie, who's gonna shoot them up the second he can tie off his arm.
Like the fact that this franchise has grown to a point where like he's actively jealous of anyone the audience likes too much. Like this movie, because what I have, and again, I don't mean to hijack your topic, but what's amazing about Fast and Furious is he's like, no, I'm not going to do the sequel because I'm like an artist and I'm going to do Triple X. And they're like, okay, we're going to do it with your boy Pablo because Pablo loves those money checks. And Pablo was like, ooh, rest in peace. They're like bringing a muscular black guy. And then Vin Diesel was like, what the fuck is this bullshit that
you were serious about that?
You're doing without me. So he clearly, in my head, got in Pablito's ear and was like, no, bro, family, fuck this noise. And Paul Walker was like, Paul Walker clearly got a double check for Too Fast, Too Furious because he was like, yeah. I already kind of got paid for the third one. Not going to do it. And then
I'm just going to wear the same sneakers and save you money on the wardrobe. Give me that money.
Exactly. Then Vin Diesel clearly got the call and they said, hey, bro, we screened Tokyo Drift and people are pissed. And he goes, so why is it because people are kind of racist? No, it's not because people are kind of Is it because you guys use Japanese? No, Vin Diesel, we don't know what you're saying, you mumbly fuck. It's because people want it to be tied in to the originals. And he goes, well, you fucking can't do it. You filmed a movie. And they're like, nah, you show up at the end. You're like, I'm friends with the dead guy.
We can fix that. If we can put a camera through the exhaust manifold of a freaking car that has bits and pieces from 52 other cars, Japanese imports, we can do anything, bro. My point was this, just to hijack it back. As early as 1, they knew that they wanted to do a lengthy, epic saga version, right? And that's exactly what's happening. They're making 9 and 10. If I'm not mistaken, they're kind of filming them in succession. And they've lined up like actors, right? They're like actual actors, like people whose work I admire. like, what the hell is going
I
on?
feel like everyone wants to do a Fast and Furious.
What the hell is happening? Well, yeah, like honestly, like, and this is the only analogy that I'll throw out there. Fast and the Furious has somehow become our Cannonball Run,
100%.
right? Because Cannonball Run, people were lining up. They're like, yeah, put me in that shit. That's my grandkids will love it. Like that's the type of stuff. Like Charlize Theron's like got kids now. She's like, yeah, I'll do that shit. You got it, no problem. Anyways, my point was this. It doesn't really make a difference ultimately what the subject matter is. If you have a long-term A to Z story to tell, you can tell it in these formats. Now, Fast and the Furious, again, they started kind of early, right? They started kind of early in our entertainment possibilities world. So they pretty much had to be, they were exclusive to the big screen. But nowadays, in this world of like giant screen and ceiling screens, and like Mandalorian, I read an article also that Sony is Sony. Actually, it is Sony because I think they manufacture them. That they're like selling those rigs now, so people can do Mandalorian type things where they're like, oh, you wanna film literally any place in the world that you can imagine. Now you can do it. All you gotta do is send like one dude, one camera, get the shots you need, head on back. I'll see you back in the cave.
Yeah, it's literally like PlayStation VR. Like the technology behind it.
It's a video game engine, and that lets you operate within the. It's some crazy
dude.
Like
that's the most Star Wars shit about Mandalorian.
How about this? That's the most Ready Player One shit that even Ready Player Two could not come up with. Which, by the way, I'm like halfway through it. Anyways,
but he has a DeLorean Ecto.
Anyways, so my offering to Charlie is this. Now that we're gonna have Charlie is going to have the 10-issue saga of Fast and the Furious, but we now have the opportunity to make these epic.
Yeah.
Tolkien would be rolling in his little hobbit hole grave right now if he knew what we were capable of, right? These ongoing, incredibly involved, character-rich epic tales. Again, I realize these are absurd terms to be thrown around. When I started the sentence with Fast and the Furious,
you must be sick to your stomach that you just filleted Fast and Furious a little bit.
Hold on. All right, sorry about that. So, that being said, what really kind of got my fires juiced up was now we know what we can do when you have a beginning and end already in mind. Another good example of it is in a different format is Vikings.
Yeah,
I love me some Vikings.
My boy Edge is in that.
History buff. Yeah, that's right. I'm a huge history buff. I love any content that's historically based. Now, granted, you have an entertainment, even though it's based on history.
It's like
you're gonna have some flexibility.
They Hamilton that shit. They're like, yeah. He hated slaves.
Yeah, right. They're like, there's even one guy whose helmet has horns, and like History Channel's like, they never had horns. Nah, there was one guy. It was one guy. It's fine. So
Pete with
my
the horns.
offering to Charlie is, now that we know what's capable, and I actually don't care if it just has to be finite. It just has to have a hard out. You begin at the beginning, you end at the end. You can do whatever you want in the middle. What is the next Fast and the Furious for Charlie? Now, I don't care if it's something that's already begun, right? I'm leaving this very open-ended for Charlie. Naturally, I have mine because I'm a dirty, dirty cheater. And this is something that I have desperately, desperately wanted since I gobbled up the first, to my knowledge, piss poor attempt at it. And a little bit of a teaser. Charlie, we were kind of talking about this in another cheating session that we had going on. But you know what? I'm gonna go ahead. I'll throw out mine to give Charlie
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a little bit of time to put it together. So the concept is you have a finite ending. You certainly know where you want to begin it. What is the epic saga? If you were Homer, like what's your Odyssey? What's your Iliad? What's your Gilgamesh? What like what's your epic that you think deserves this long form storytelling? Now, me personally, the one I'm looking for, I'm gonna want it on the big screen. Mainly because I've gotten some mediocre attempts at it on the small screen. And
Something Stephen King.
no.
Oh.
I'm going the historical route. I'm going more Vikings as opposed to Fast and the Furious. But that's just for me.
Got?
Okay.
What do you got?
And we have had a noble try at it with the John Adams HBO series. But that was more so about Adams, and it wasn't limited the way I particularly want it limited. I want a serial, epic, Vin Diesel-esque 10-movie run of my Revolutionary War stories.
Ooh, that'd be dope.
Oh, Charlie. Ooh.
And we could do a sequel because that shit's about to pop off again.
I don't want now here's this has to be said. I don't want a tri-corner hat superhero movie like we got from Mad Max. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. I don't want some fabrication, some like a hodgepodge of multiple, like stories that you hear here and there, and you don't have to line anything up. And she put ink in the tea. Isn't that adorable? Now we burned her alive. No, that to me is like, it's just a cheap out. We have so much knowledge about what actually happened, and obviously something like Hamilton really kind of goes to show you how much great detail, specific information we have about the founding fathers and about the characters that were involved with them. Additionally, even John Leguizamo's American History for Dummies, Spanish History for Dummies, really points out like there are certain things about. I love history. I particularly love American history. I find it fascinating for the good and for the bad and for the great. But there was stuff that I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? Did Super Freak just like make stuff up? No, he didn't. There are so many amazing stories. And if you have like epic storytelling, like you can do like Vin Diesel does with Fast and the Furious, which are superhero movies. Look, I don't care if you want to 300 the action. That's fine. You do obviously want to keep it entertaining. You want to throw a little something for the tired businessman and businesswoman. Maybe, maybe when John Madison opens up his surcoat, he's got like 82 abs, and like, you gotta use sex sells. You got to do a little product placement, whatever. That's fine. But these are stories. So like, just like think about like all like you can have an entire movie basically where the culmination of the movie, the final act of that flick, is the fucking is the Boston Tea Party. So everything that built up to the specifically to the end. So basically these movies would be particular incidents. Now picking 10, that's tough, right? I'm not a history teacher, so I could probably do it, but a history teacher that would pull out however much hair they still have after teaching from home. But there are so many moments, there are particular battles, there are particular situations, and you can have the movies. They don't have to be one after the other, action movie, war movie. No, not at all. So you can have a 2-hour Continental Congress flick You can have a 2-hour movie that is an action flick that culminates with the Christmas Day crossing of the Delaware by George Washington, where they whoops them British asses as a Christmas present. Like these are moments. These are movies that you can have, and they can be sequential, and they can be accurate, and they can be entertaining. These are epic sagas, right? These are huge, huge stories.
I love it.
Actually, I don't think that the Revolutionary War has ever gotten it. We have gotten awesome content that has been, again, something like Hamilton, amazing. Only a portion of it is in regards, obviously, to music.
Yeah,
A portion of it.
kicking that out to that 20, 30 hours of
Mhm.
entertainment is something else. I just because time's running down,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go the total opposite. I'm gonna go
As I'm used to.
full nerdy, but I kind of want to pull the Abrams over at HBO Max,
Mhm.
but I want to do it with the Ninja Turtles. Give me like 4 5 seasons of a show, and I want to do big event movies. I want to do 3. We're gonna have 3 movies and 5 or 6 seasons
you
of a
want
show.
shows into movies.
Correct.
Now, do you want them to be sequential? Do you want the shows, season, and then movie, or
No,
do you want the movies interlaced?
I
or
want
how
them
you
interlaced. I want to really push, and if we do it on HBO Max, it's easier because you know where you're going to first run that on kind of television. So what you do is you launch the movie, you do your Ninja Turtles movie. Honestly, I don't have a ton to change from the original because I think that movie's a banger. But I'm going to redo it because I want everything to look the same. And
Sure, and
that'll-
it needs to be cohesive. That's one of the
Yeah.
rules.
So once we kind of get at the climax of that first film, we know Shredder's kind of our big bad. Maybe we still took him down, but we know the Foot are in the city. We have this city we've developed. We know mutants are possible. My series is going to take that concept, the kind of the way the cartoon did, but I want to go back to that Mirage Studio vibe. I want this to be a badass show. There are going to be jokes, there's going to be stuff, but this isn't just for kids. If a kid's watching, we're doing heavy PG-13. You better have a parent ready because Raph is going to bust some skulls.
If you're doing it, if I'm going to be an executive producer, as I mentioned,
of course.
I kind of want the show. It doesn't have to look like it, but I want the show to have kind of an Into the Badlands vibe to it.
1,000%.
Fucking kung fu show.
1,000%.
The focus has to be the martial arts, because when you look at content like the Ninja Turtles, just saying their name, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you're almost like you have to like be a little hangdog when you say like, yeah, I know it's a little silly sounding. Now the way that the comic books, Eastman and Lade, the way that they overcame that was their original comics were fucking gruesomely violent. They were incredible. They were black and white, incredibly violent, unapologetic. So I demand, as an executive producer of this content, Charlie, I demand that you take up that same flag and wave it around like you're on the barricade.
1,000%. And the key is when you talk about like sex sells, I mean, we get to eventually introduce Casey Jones, second season of the show, where already we have hours and hours under our belt, and we throw in now this like, just, as a former hockey, drop, this guy is going to be yoked like you No, I do not accept these time constraints. Not today. Not when it comes to so let me give you the 10
Not today, version. Lord. Not when I'm talking about shells knocking turtle sex.
But everything about this first movie is going to set the stand, and I'm going back to guys in suits. We'll CG enhance it so like you won't see like rubber tearing, but I need these cats to like
all your cues from Mandalorian, bro.
100%. 100%.
Any alien that mattered in Mandalorian, that's how you're doing your turtle.
Yeah. And also think about because again, the movie has to be about the turtles, and we'll do the traditional like Shredder shows up, Foot Clan's running rampant, Ninja Turtles like, yo, now we got to make ourselves known, bitch. And Shredder's like, Splinter's like, nah, don't, bro. But think about that first season of television, because movie first, almost directly into the series.
Uh-huh.
You have that episode about Splinter and Shredder back in the day. You dedicate a whole hour to it. The Ninja Turtles can be there for the setup. They're hearing a story from Splinter. Like you can have.
And here's the thing: you have a built-in cheat using that formula because it.
100%.
I'll throw out a little history. The first time that I saw anything Thundercats, first mostly, I'm a little wee babe, and they were beating us around the head and neck like we were Mum-Ra. This here comes the Thundercats. Thundercats this, Thundercats that. We're like, what the hell is a Thundercats? I don't know, but it looks awesome. So they just beat the hell out of us that Thundercats are coming, Thundercats are coming. And when Thundercats launched, it launched with an animated movie first. So you are in essence doing precisely what they've been doing since time immemorial, i.e. the 80s, when things were never better.
The beginning of times.
So yeah, I think you're nailing it. I think you're nailing it. You start with the movie, episode, season, movie in the middle for like these big arcs, and I don't want us to drag it on, and obviously
of course
hear your full pitch and stuff like that. But here's the only thing, the only sigh in the bicycle tire, so to speak. Charlie, it's got to end.
Well,
it needs a hard end.
There's two things. So we have this, the first movie launches it. We get a couple seasons. That next movie brings us to this crazy fucking tonal shift. Because like you said, unapologetic. And I am unapologetic about the source material and what Ninja Turtles is, right? That second movie, bitch, let's get us some fucking aliens. Krang for the second film.
Okay.
By the time I do roll out that film and then I go a couple seasons, my last film, sir.
The end.
The end of this saga, based on The Last Ronin. 3 turtles are dead, 1 survivor. You get the definitive last.
Are you going to do a time jump then? Because you need.
After the second movie, we're going to do a night, because Krang shows up. Yeah. We get a couple seasons living with like, bro, aliens are here. Technology's different.
Sure. You have an apocalyptic show now. You've got the next Walking Dead.
I have an entire season after this movie, after a immediate follow-up season. That next season is my Ninja Turtle Walking Dead with the 4 of them, though. Then we do a 1-year time jump for my finale. And part of that last movie is even just kind of realizing which turtles left. I'm going to keep that shit hush hush.
I dig it.
The end of my film, the turtle ends. The last turtle falls, doing something awesome to ensure that at the end of the day,
somebody just knocks him on his back and he can't turn over. Oh, what a tragic end to the saga.
The saga starts because New York City needs them. The saga ends. New York City's as saved as it could be.
Yeah, no, I tried to pull him off, but he was dead serious about the turtle thing. He had to.
How dare you?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was the producer.
Yeah, you tell that producer that he can follow us on all of our social media. US Comics HQ. You can follow us on our website, uscomicshq.com. Make sure if you're watching this on Facebook or on YouTube, make sure you hit that like. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you hit that share button, because the truth is we cannot build this comic book empire without you. And everyone wants to know the next big thing. You're looking at it. And I'm not just talking about Kevin Smith's old waistline or my current waistline. It's about to pop off. But my brother.
Word.
We know they can find the next teaser tomorrow on our social media. They know they can find us anywhere you can hear a podcast. They know where we can be found. But do they know how we end? every episode of US Comics Cast?
I mean, they should know at this point, but I am a gracious Lord. So I'll go ahead and tell them first, you got to turn the power on. Then you got to turn the volume up. Then you tune Bad Mary in. Open up the window wide and scream into the night sky. Save me, Space Girl. We out.